So today we will start our ninth chapter, that's the measures of center tendency. Here arithmetic means. What is measure in the measures of tendency means it's the one of the important parameter in statistics where it helps to find out the average. Means average what denotes the mean, median and mode. So in this chapter we will study the mean, median and mode. Harmonic mean and geometric mean of the given data. Without the help of central tendency, we are not able to find out any results to any data. So central tendency basically refers to the central value or representative value of a series. Here, the meaning of central tendency means it is a statistical parameter which helps us to find the result of the given data. As we can say, there are large number of figures which are big in size, in some but are confusing one. So that figures are not easy to understand, they are difficult one. So therefore it's necessary to reduce the complexity of data to make comparison analysis. So what we do, we reduce to a single figure or value. Such single figure or value, it is known as the measure of central tendency. Or the representation value of group of values is known as the measure of central tendency. A measure of central tendency is a measure that tells us where the middle value of a bunch data lies. Means if we have a bunch of data and we want to know that one data which identifies that which kind of data is representing, like we can say in the tendency, center tendency, the mean is the most common measure of tendency. It is the simple sum of numbers divided by number of numbers in a set of data. Means we can take the average. Means if we find out, if we want to find the average of what 9, 8, 10. So what is the average? So when we divide this 9, 8, 10 by how many numbers are these? There are 3 numbers by 3. And the value we get, that is the average. And that average is a result of a bunch of data. The one data we get by dividing all the by adding sum of the observation and by dividing it by the number. The data which we get, that is the result. That is the data or one value. That is known as the average, or we can say the central tendency. Is it clear? You clear the meaning of central tendency?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Basically, in average, an average is a figure that represents the whole group. Average is calculated by sum of all the observation and total number of observation. Like if we have some numbers 5, 10, 15. So sum of all observation means by adding this, I have to add this. So it's gonna be
30.
30. So 30 is to be
Divided by
divided by how many numbers?
3.
3. So what gonna be the average?
10.
10. So this is the average, or we can say mean value. Today we will just cover the theory part, or we can say the theory, the purpose or and the essentials of a good average. And tomorrow we'll start the practical also. Okay. So next is the purpose and the functions of average are. What are the purpose? As we have studied, as Mori defines in statistics that average means a science of averages. Statistics says a science of averages. So in center tendency, we have to focus on the averages part. The Moroni said that the purpose of an average is a brief and simple representation of a group of individual values so that the brain may quickly grasp the general basis of the units of a group. So let's discuss the purpose and the functions of average are. The first one is the brief description. The one and the main purpose of an average is to present a simple and systematic description of a principle of the law raw data. As a result, data can be easily understood by the reader. Got it? Means you have to describe that in a brief way so that it's gonna be understood by the reader easily. So the averages as the main function is to describe a briefly वो describe करते हैं in a short way. Next function and next purpose of averages is the comparison. Averages helps in making comparison of different sets of data. As the in India, the per capita income, we get the average of per capita income, and then same way, the other countries like USA, US, UK are also calculate their per capita income. On an average, what we do, we can easily compare the data of India with the US or with other countries. We can compare the per capita income of India with the other countries. And while comparing, when we're gonna compare with these countries, what we realize? We realize that where the India stands, as other countries also do the same. If we realize that the per capita income of India is less than the US or less than the UK. So what it concludes? It concludes that India is poor one. India has to raise its economy because India's per capita income is low. So what averages helps and how what's the function of averages? It helps to compare the data of one country with the another one. Got it? समझ आया?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next is the formulation of policies. Means as averages helps in formulation of policies. How? We have taken the example of per capita income of India. As it is 31,801 per annum, and which is very less from the other countries. So how averages functions or averages purpose is to formulation of policies because it focus it helps the government to focus on such economic policies, or the government focus to increase their per capita income by raising the economy, by to implement, or we can say to focus on the economic policies of the countries so that the per capita income of the India increases. The so the main purpose of averages is also that helps to in the formulation of the policies. Next is the statistical analysis. As averages constitute the basis of statistical analysis, for example, if one knows the average marks secured by one student of a class in their different subjects, one can also easily analyze the subject in which the students are weak. So when we get the average of a marks, we can easily understand the where the student is lie. If it is less, we can assume that the student is weak. It is if it is above, we can analyze the student is good in studies. So it also performs a function of statistical analysis of data. The last purpose and function of the average are the one value for all. Means the averages represents the universe or the mass of statistical data, means the one figure represents the whole data. Or we can say the one figure, the one value of from a bunch of data, that is the average, which defines the whole data, whole bunch of data which are representing that one single result, that is average. So these are the purpose and the functions of average. Is it clear? Yes बच्चा, क्लियर है?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next are the essentials. What are the essentials of a good average? So a good and satisfactory average should have these following average essentials. A good average should be based on all the observation. Means a good average should be based on all the observations. Like only those averages which where all the data are used give best results. Whereas the averages which use less data are not representative of the whole group. So the first essential of a good average is to that it should be based on all the observation. Like we have said that if we have taken the data, if we have taken the data 5, 5, 6, 7, 10. So when we have to find the average, we have to take all these four. If we left the sixth part, it's gonna be not the good essential of average. It will not provide a good result. So good average should based on all the observation. We have to take all the observation and then we have to find the average. Next is the good averages should not be unduly affected by extreme value. Means no term should affect the average too much. Like if one or two very small or very large items unduly affect the average, then the average can't be really typically of the entire group. Like let us take an example. If we are finding average of 8 and 6, 8, 6, 10, then the mean value is 8. But if another item having value of 200 is taken, the average comes out 56. Hence, it can't be called a good average, as with only one new item is added and then the mean value is increases 8 to the 56. So the good average should not be unduly affected by the extreme value. Thus, extreme terms may distort the average and reduce its usefulness. Clear, bacha?